On today's episode, Acura's inaccurate Twitter campaign.
Marketing fun with breastfeeding.
Bing promotes human interaction.
Would you pay for your friend's attention?
Mike would. The hubbub on Zuckerberg's hoodie.
And are you measuring marketing wrong?
All coming up, with addition to some inappropriate stuff, I'm sure, on today's episode. Hi, welcome to the Marketing Update. It's May 11th, 2012, and we're coming to you live from Cambridge, Massachusetts.
I'm Mike Volpe.
It's a very exciting day.
It's both a very happy day, but it's also a slightly sad day. Okay.
Just do it for me. Fine. You don't even have to wear it for long.
All right.
See, it's a happy day.
But it's a little bit sad, too.
It is a little bit sad.
It's a little bit sad.
It's our 200th episode.
It is, but hang on.
Okay.
So, hashtag.
I'm out of order.
Thank you. 5-star reviews, old episodes in iTunes. Everybody can come by live.
199 of them.
199 of them, right? Come by live here, 4 o'clock Friday, so you can watch the show like all these fabulous people did. Okay, but why is it a happy day?
It's a happy day because it's our 200th episode. Which,
200.
by the way, that's our
and
birthday
apparently
audience.
Also New Year's.
Michael Pryor, standing at the back, pointed out today that we have done more episodes than Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And I Love Lucy. How incredible is that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a better TV show than Seinfeld.
You are actually longer running.
Also better.
Well, that's okay.
Anyway,
fair enough. But it's also a little bit of a sad day.
It is a sad day. Today is Mike's and my last episode for a while.
For at least for a while.
For at least
we may
while.
come back.
But it's going to be good.
We're
That's
taking
gonna
a
be
few
awesome.
months off.
We're taking a few months off.
I'm having a baby.
You're going to do it for me? Thank you so much.
That would be hilarious.
That would be awesome.
Jared and I in the hospital.
If I don't have to be involved in this, that would be amazing.
Yeah. No, I think you have to be involved.
Yeah, no. So,
yep, definitely do.
We're going to do that for a little while. You're going to have amazing co-hosts standing in, Ms. Ellie Merman and Mr. Andrew Quinn, who you have seen at least one episode of so far.
Totally.
If you watch every week. And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my hat off now. You have permission to as well.
Okay, thank you. It is kind of annoying.
It is a little bit annoying. But
right.
Dan, no, you in the audience need to keep wearing yours.
So we do have a little bit of history here that you wanted to cover.
Yeah, our first episode was August 1st, 2008, which is actually only 197 weeks ago. But we've done a couple weeks where we've done more than one episode. So this is our 200th episode.
Working some overtime.
Working a little bit of overtime. On that episode, we talked about Cooley and Knoll. Anyone know what they are?
Yes.
They were two social networks that were starting up in 2008 that we were talking about whether or not they were going to succeed. Cool was a search engine.
But it was but you wrote Cooley, C-U-L-I, but I think it was C-U-I-L. And it was cool.
That might be true.
It was a search engine. They were supposed to take down Google.
It was a search engine that was going to take down Google.
And did you watch the show?
I didn't watch it. I looked at our old show notes.
Oh, okay. What were our predictions?
Well, it was started by a bunch of ex-Googlers, I think.
Yeah.
I think we said something along the lines of, it's cool for there to be another search engine in the field, but we'll see how they do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We did not predict their success.
Anybody remember Knoll? K-N-O-L?
Yeah, that was Google's wiki-ish thing, if I remember right. It was Google Knoll.
Wikipedia?
So sort of compete with Wikipedia. You could create a page about any topic, whatever.
The beginning of Google's social...
Yeah. Ish thing. Not sure.
We also talked about Obama. There's an ad. He got 2 million views. He was not president yet. I had to think about that for a second, but he was not, but I was already talking about it.
Yep.
And search challenged email is the most popular online activity. That was a big deal back in 2008.
And now social surpassed email as the most common thing to do online.
So anyway, a couple of blasts from the past. On the 100th episode, by the way, Mike stood me up. And he didn't come in, so I didn't get to do the show. Rebecca did it with Dan Zarella. And Mike tried to play it off like the 99th episode would be the better one to do, but in reality, I'm still upset with him over the 100th episode.
And yet you've come back 100 times since then. How about some headlines, Ruben? And we got first, Acura's inaccurate Twitter campaign.
So our very good friend David Meerman Scott on Twitter, hanging out, big music lover, and he's tweeting with one of his friends about Jazz Fest, which happened this past weekend in New Orleans.
I think somebody was asking him if he was at Jazz Fest. He's like, no, I'm not at Jazz Fest.
That's exactly what he said.
Yep.
And he gets a tweet from Acura that basically invites him to visit the Acura tent at Jazz Fest for a chance to win to get into the Acura VIP tent.
So by tweeting that I'm not at Jazz Fest, he gets an invitation to go to the VIP tent at Jazz Fest.
This is a bit of a mistake when it's, you know, David Meerman Scott.
When it's anyone, it's a mistake. All right,
fair.
It's a bigger mistake.
They happen to do it to someone with a fair bit of following on the internet. He wrote a blog post about it. He talked about how this is just clearly machine-generated stuff.
Yeah.
Their entire stream from Acura_Insider was just the same tweet over and over again to anybody that mentioned the Jazz Fest hashtag.
Yeah.
He kind of
I was talking to somebody earlier today that has some tools that help you automate a few things on Twitter, and one of the things that's risky is if you're sort of over-automating. Certainly tools to help you get more leverage can be a good thing,
yep.
But if you're over-automating, it can be a problem. And here you are, like sending someone, it's funny because like the keyword sets this whole thing off,
yeah.
But it's exactly the wrong message to send to them because they were actually really specific that they're not at Jazz Fest.
Totally.
Right?
And so David's post actually got a comment from the woman who manages the Acura Insider Twitter account. And what was really interesting about it was she apologized that people who were not at Jazz Fest got tweets about it.
Yeah.
But it was just that their targeting was wrong.
Right.
They still were okay with it automating and blast sending to all of these people who messaged the hashtag who were at Jazz Fest, which I think what David's article is pointing to, and where I'd go is
it's worse if you're sending it to me and I'm not at Jazz Fest. But is it really like should you be sending tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet to everyone just because they're using the hashtag? I don't know if that's really the right thing to do or not. The other thing is, of course, that they did, which is the classic consumer brand thing to do, is just throw the agency under the bus.
Right. Oh yeah, every time. It's not
like,
our fault. It's the agency. They weren't supposed to do it this way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I would make an inappropriate hand gesture right now, but I'm on TV.
Stopped you before.
I don't do the hand gestures. Swearing I'm okay with, but hand gestures. Anyway, the marketing takeaway here is that marketing automation and social media might be like oil and water.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure these things go together, and you can really, you know, kill yourself with too much marketing, too much automation.
Just be careful about how you do it.
Yeah.
Tools to help you be more efficient can be helpful.
So,
just be careful.
Mike changed the headline of the next story, but I'm going to change it back on him when I announce it because this came from Patrick Shea.
Okay. Why
Breastfeeding is fun!
Okay. I was going to call it marketing fun with breastfeeding.
Not nearly as exciting as my title.
So it has something to do with marketing, as opposed to just a declarative statement from the pregnant lady.
I think, well, I haven't actually experienced it yet, so I can't comment on that, whether or not it's fun, but Patrick Shea tells me it is.
Luckily you can have, you know, three... Interesting.
So this was a story, I kind of think, has anybody not heard about the breastfeeding Time story that's going on right now? Yeah, all right. I think everybody knows what's going on. Time, I wanted to make sure because I was going to say something about living under a rock.
The cover of Time magazine, there is a 3-year-old breastfeeding from a relatively attractive woman.
Someone pointed out he looks more like 7, but
he does look. He definitely looks like.
Like
yeah,
they took a 3-year-old and they made him look a bit older.
It definitely, yeah.
And so this.
It's meant to be provocative, obviously.
They have a whole issue about this
attachment
parenting, which is apparently all for breastfeeding until you go to college.
Wow.
And I told you I couldn't do this story without being offensive.
We're also
you still wanted to do it.
Oversimplifying the attachment parenting story, but
in any case, they chose this incredibly provocative photo to put on the cover, and it's getting a lot of comment. Jamie Grummett, she's a 26-year-old from Los Angeles who is the mom on the cover. That's really her son. It's not a model with a fake son, which would almost be weirder. Like a child pornography sense.
Quasi illegal, right?
I have no idea.
At first I thought maybe they like photoshopped it, but like, yeah.
But it's a mom and her son,
Yes.
And she says, we knew what we were getting into. I understand why Time chose the picture. It creates a bit of a media craze to get the dialogue talking, which is exactly what then Rick Stengel, the managing editor of Time, said. The whole point of a magazine cover is to get attention. And since they started talking about doing this series of stories and covering this, he's been in tons of meetings because there's so much opinion and passion on it. He knew that they kind of needed to go, I guess, a little bit over the edge in order to get people's attention, which they did.
Yeah.
And people are paying attention.
They are.
So, I mean, is there anything more that we can say here so that I don't...
I'm sure there's a lot more that you can say here.
But I'm not going to.
No? Really?
I know you want me to.
I don't want you to do anything.
You picked the story because you were like, oh, I know she can't do this one.
I just thought we wanted something to like spice things up. But all right, what is the marketing takeaway here, Karen Rubin?
A little or a lot of controversy can go a long way.
There you go. All right.
Look
Apparently that's all we had to say about breastfeeding. So, Bing promotes human interaction.
I did have more on it.
I know you did. I know you did.
I had to take a dig at Dan Zarella, who pointed out to me that Facebook, like, in February, a whole story broke out about how Facebook doesn't allow pictures of breastfeeding on your pages. Like if I, in a couple of weeks, should have a picture of me breastfeeding my baby, and I posted that to Facebook, which I will not do, and I've promised Megan that I will not do. And I specifically will not make it my profile picture, so that's the one everybody sees.
The timeline photo at the top?
Facebook takes those pictures down.
Okay.
And
so Facebook's more restrictive than Time Magazine.
Well,
interesting.
But what's interesting, and Dan Zarilla told me all about this, so I don't know, I mean, Dan Zarilla's all up on breastfeeding 101 with regards to social media, which why wouldn't he be?
The science of breastfeeding?
The science of Dan, new webinar. In any case, I found out about the story on Facebook because there was a picture of the cover, and it made me go like, what the? And click on it, and so I was just wondering if
But
maybe
Facebook didn't take it down.
No.
Because it's Time Magazine.
Do you think that's why? I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe it's also like if you share a link that's to a picture of breastfeeding, it's different. But in any case, this gets by. Like if you're dying to post breastfeeding photos on Facebook, here's your in.
Try a bunch of different ones and see what gets through.
Bing promotes human interaction.
Yes.
What's the story, Mike?
Why do I have to talk about this?
Okay.
So what Bing is doing is they're giving you
the whole show.
I know, but I just
I'm so much more interesting.
I don't even know what to say. Something like that. So what Bing is doing is they are providing more social information with search results. So they used to, in the list of links that would come up when you did a search on Bing, give you information about individual links and which of your friends had liked certain pieces of content from around the web, and that's good because it's valuable. Because it's like, wow, that's interesting. Like Karen likes that one, so maybe the next result's actually better, or like whatever else it is. But now they're changing the whole format of that and actually giving you a box over on the right-hand side that gives you all of the social results there, and basically changes the search results from being kind of just like a list of links with maybe a little bit of social proof there to being more of like a start toward a conversation.
Yeah,
and their whole point is that people are more important than pages.
Right, and what they're specifically doing is you have to first give them your Facebook information and other social media site information, and they're telling you here are some people that might have the answer to your question. So it's not just showing you, Mike Volpe liked this link, it's showing you, Rebecca Corliss wrote an article about this on her blog. It might not get that specific, but it might say Rebecca should know something about this based on everything we know from stalking her.
Yeah.
So it actually gets more interesting, and one of the things that they talk about is we've known this for years, that people prefer a recommendation from their friend to a recommendation from a random website. Like that's no brainer, we all agree with that. And this is trying to take that to the next level, and they say that this might not be the right solution, but it's the direction that they're heading, where getting the information from people is more important than just pages.
I think it's super interesting, and I think if you're not Google, you have to figure out a way to do something different from Google, and they've been trying to do that. This is another innovative way that's interesting to try. I personally sort of feel like search, though, is a place where I might not want as much social there, because I kind of want to discover things that are outside of my network. Yeah. And I sort of feel like I'm not really sure about this, but it'll be interesting to see sort of where it goes. What's the marketing?
I also think that this isn't instant. I mean, look, I go to Google. How often am I going to Google to be like, I'm going to look for something, or Bing, sorry. I never go to Bing, but if I was to go to Bing, I look for something and then be like, oh, Dan knows about this. I'm going to tweet to Dan, and when he gets to it, he'll get back to me and give me the information. Yeah. Or click on the first search result and probably have my answer.
Right.
Like
it depends on what you're looking for and what the.
I would say most of what I do on Google, I'm probably not looking for like the long range answer. I'm looking for
but maybe product recommendations. You're doing like research on cars or something. You might, hey, Dan, I saw you bought this car.
So maybe there are places where this is good, but
in any event, what's the marketing takeaway?
Build your social media presence now while this is all being figured out. It's going to be too late once the social search engines have figured out how to incorporate social media.
We have a couple tweets coming in.
Oh, yeah?
So we have Patrick Shea saying marketing and breastfeeding. This is why we watch.
I didn't get there for you though. Sorry.
And the Ludlow group says happy 200th episode, Karen and Mike. The show won't be the same without you guys.
It'll be better.
It'll be better, exactly.
Thank you.
All right, so next up.
Would you
pay for your friend's attention?
For your friend's attention.
If you were not Karen Rubin.
I know, I was just gonna say I would, because I bribed you all here with cake today. Let's not kid ourselves.
So what is this?
So this is a story on Facebook. It's on BusinessInsider.com, but Mike and I both felt like maybe it was a little sketchy. It also came from Patrick Shea, by the way. Big contributor to today's episode. Yeah. They're testing a product that actually allows you to pay to make sure your friends see a particular post of yours.
Yeah.
So you post something on your timeline.
It's almost like a sponsored story, but within your friends.
Within your friends.
Yeah.
So if you have something you really want your friends to pay attention to, and they talked about it might be as much as $2 to pay for this.
Yeah.
Would you pay for your friends to pay more attention to what you're doing?
Well, if you have a lot of friends on like a cost per impression basis, it might be worth it if it was like an important thing, right?
Okay. But
is that thinking too much like a marketer?
It is. Well, this is the thing. It's taking my personal life and making me a marketer out of it.
Yeah.
Is the whole world becoming a marketer?
I don't know. And should you have to pay for exposure? Should you have to pay for exposure to your friends that you loaded into Facebook? I don't know.
I don't know. And does it say something about the people that work at Facebook and whether or not their friends actually pay any attention to them?
I don't know.
Like, it would be a brilliant idea.
The funny thing is, too, is that the people would have to do this more, the people whose content is less interesting, so it tends to appear in other people's feeds less often. And is that really the content that people actually want to see? And, like, why are you going to let them pay for it? So I don't know.
Someone's going to pay for me to see that they got, like, 200 goats on Farmville? Woohoo! Awesome.
There you go. So I removed Farmville from my entire feed a long time ago.
You can do that?
You can block an entire app. Blocking apps is my favorite thing to do. Every single new app that has anything to do with my feed always
I actually end up blocking the people.
Yeah.
Like, if you just play Farmville all the time, I block you.
Yeah, well,
because I played Farmville for a period, and you know what? I didn't send the messages to my friends. Like, you have that option. It's like, tell your timeline that you got 200 goats. No, thank you. It's not that hard.
There you go.
Anyway.
What's the marketing takeaway, Karen?
Inbound tactics like creating good content probably work in your personal life as well as your professional life.
All right.
Really good advice if you're on the market for a new boyfriend, girlfriend, lover.
Okay. The hubbub on Zuckerberg's hoodie.
Yes.
Yes. So, IPO roadshow, meeting with very rich and powerful and self-important investment bankers that all wear very, very nice and expensive suits and ties.
And think they're really important.
And Zuckerberg shows up in a hoodie.
It's awesome! So here's the thing, all sorts of hubbub about this.
Yes.
The people that, his critics, say it's a sign of immaturity and disrespect for those who he's expecting to finance his company. Who cares? It's Mark Zuckerberg. Like, are you kidding me? He buys and sells these guys. Like, he has more money than them.
Yeah, he does not need your money to finance his company. No. Let's be clear about that. He is doing this so he can make over $1 billion.
I know, like.
He's actually selling $1 billion worth of stock in the offering.
They act like he's this 27, 28-year-old who's coming and begging for money. Like, I'm sorry, he doesn't really need your money.
It's not the way it works.
The other people are more on the same side as Mike and I, which doesn't come from our bitterness about Wall Street at all or anything like that.
No,
but
never.
Basically, one guy, Mr. Bloggett, on Business Insider, said, Zuckerberg doesn't really give a damn about you. And I don't mean to be rude, Wall Street, but Zuckerberg's actually wise not to care about you. First, as discussed, he controls the company. But second, most of you don't do much to deserve attention from CEOs anyway. I just had to read that.
Other people are also saying that it's important, like he's doing it as a symbol of Facebook maintaining its culture and that it's not going too corporate even though they're going public.
You could also say it's like East Coast, West Coast differences. On the West Coast, they just don't care about this much in Silicon Valley as they do in New York, where fashion is like, you know, you live and die by it if you
maybe I don't know. It's still all the bankers would still, or even both sides would wear suits in the West Coast.
I love it.
Like, so I don't know, but anyways, yeah.
At the point HubSpot's like talking with investors, I'm gonna come in like my running clothes.
Because you're gonna be part of the IPO pitch.
Damn straight. Damn straight. Why wouldn't I be? Where's Halligan? He promised me he'd be here today. Right. And I'm gonna wear like my sweaty running clothes, and I'm not gonna shave my legs just to like stick it to them.
Perfect. Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
That will definitely increase the valuation. That'll be great.
Anyway, going one step further with this story and actually tying it back to marketing, because I do that occasionally, company Beta Brand came out with a pinstriped hoodie just for such occasion if you want to go business casual or casual business.
Whichever you think.
What's awesome is they came up with this idea back in February, but saw that the Facebook IPO was coming and waited to launch it until this past week. When, as the Zuckerberg hubbub's blowing up and getting all this attention, they were like, oh, by the way, if you're Mark Zuckerberg, check out our pinstriped hoodie. Yeah. It's great.
Totally.
So marketing takeaway here is to jump on the big stories and get some extra marketing boost because every article talking about Zuckerberg's hoodie mentions this company right now.
There you go.
And Mike actually went out and bought 3 of these pinstripe hoodies.
I did. Trying to make it classy.
Good for this CMO look.
HubSpot. Totally. All right. Are you measuring your marketing wrong?
Are you?
I'm not.
But a lot of people are.
Apparently a lot of people are.
So this is a study from Extractable. They surveyed a whole bunch of people, companies, doesn't say how many, and asked them what they're using to measure their marketing success. Anyone got a guess as to the number one thing?
How much they spent.
How much they spent might make sense, but no, it's traffic. Everybody wants to know how many visitors they're getting to their website. 66% of companies are looking at traffic as like their big metric.
Yep.
After that, 46% said time spent on site.
Yep.
And from there, it's, what is it?
Brand recognition.
I can't actually read this. Brand
Customer
recognition.
satisfaction. Then we get to some good stuff like conversion rate, sales leads,
then
sales
social
leads.
media likes and followers.
Yep.
Mike.
Then we get to sales. Number like 7 on the list, right? Okay.
Yep.
And then we get to like some other
Sign
stuff.
up for trials,
like
downloads, or test accounts.
Yeah.
Likeliness to recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like 8% said none.
Right?
Which is also a very good metric to track, is none. It's one of my favorites. What metric do you track? None.
None.
It's a good one. It's really easy to measure, which is the good thing about none.
Mike, as the Chief Marketing Officer of HubSpot, do you have advice about what you should be measuring for your marketing?
Yes.
Would you like to share that with us?
Yes, you should measure like the entire sales process. So like traffic's fine, but what about leads? What about maybe opportunities? What about sales? Like eventually you want to tie everything back to sales and how much money you're actually making or not making from whatever you're doing. So that's what you should do.
That's a good, it's exactly right. And the marketing
hard.
takeaway here is if you can't measure visitors, leads, and customers, you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
That's all that matters.
And if you are doing it wrong, we know of some software that can help you with that problem.
We've probably heard of some.
Yeah.
Might be interesting in checking it out.
Totally.
I'm not sure if you could tell any, like, what their color is or anything like that.
Yeah. I actually have a surprise for you as part of the 200th episode.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready with the surprise? Okay, cool. So I just really wanted to congratulate you on the 200th episode.
But these guys are grinning like a bunch of buffoons.
Are they? Well, there's no big introduction to the surprise. I'm just super excited, like whatever. I thought that.
Bye, folks.
Have a good one.